The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. The following program contains mature content. Any opinions expressed are those solely of the host and any guests. Listener discretion strongly advised.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another virtual campfire sit-down, which we call Wyce Thoughts. On each episode of Wyce Thoughts, we gather around the virtual campfire and get together and I tell you what's on my mind. If you like the program, do us a favor. Would you reach out and tell your friends and leave us a positive rate and review on your favorite podcast provider? We'd greatly appreciate it. And look for more episodes of Wyce Thoughts at our main website, purplepitstudios.com. On this episode of Wyce Thoughts, what is the meaning of life? I've been thinking about that, and I'm going to talk to you today about it on Wyce Thoughts. The meaning of life, from my point of view, coming up in just a bit. So stick around. It's going to be a good one. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. And if you want to get in contact with us, there's many ways. You can go to facebook.com/Wyce Thoughts. You can also check out my YouTube channel. Just search for Wyce Thoughts on youtube.com. And if you want to tweet at me on Twitter, it's @TerryWyce. Or you can email me directly at wycethoughts@purplepitstudios.com. Thanks for listening to the show. Now, let's get back to the program. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Wyce Thoughts. I am so glad you decided to stop by and spend some of your valuable time with me today. And, purplepitstudios.com if you like the program and you want to check out all the episodes of Wyce Thoughts that are up on the website. And, hey, while you're there, why not check out all the other offerings from purplepitstudios.com as well? There's Stream Time, Think on This, Let's Make Music, just to name a few, Wyce on Film, just to name a few, all right? And you can get in contact with us there through the web form as well. Check out the blog. Check out the YouTube channel for Wyce Thoughts. I got it over there for you. If you go to YouTube, just look for Wyce Thoughts, and I'm on YouTube. You can check out some of my YouTube videos where I mainly just some goofy shit and, musical instruction, stuff about guitar and other instruments and such. Anyway, welcome one and all lovingly to the program. We appreciate each and every one of you and are so glad that you stopped by today. So as I talked about on the opener, what are we going to talk about? Yes, I've been thinking a lot lately about the meaning of life. Now, I don't know if this is because I am middle-aged and am coming to more and more to grips with my own mortality, because let's just be perfectly blunt and honest. We're all going to die someday. It's just a matter of when and how. No one lives forever, at least not that I'm aware of, as far as in this physical realm, in this physical body. Now, I do believe we all have an eternal spirit. And again, these are just my particular beliefs. I am not trying to impose them upon anyone or persuade you in any way, shape, or form to, think what I think and, believe what I believe. Believe me. I am not the know-it-all, end-all, be-all on the ins and outs of life and what comes after. I just believe, though, that there's got to be more to existence than this temporal plane that we're on temporarily. By the way, the program brought to you today by Bigelow Green Tea with Peach. No, they're not sponsoring it. But if you have a chance to pick that up, thank you, Amazon. I just ordered some the green tea with lemon. I just ran out. The Bigelow is good stuff. If you're a teetotaler and you like your tea, I love my tea and I love my bourbon and my beer, and my water. But anyhow, that's good stuff. Anyway, not to get distracted. Up, that ADD's kicking in. Squirrel. I am not the know-all, be-it-all, end-all, last word on life and what comes thereafter. But one thing I do know for certain, we're all going to die someday. From the moment you're born, you're going to die. It's just that clock starts ticking, and it's a matter of when, if, and how it's going to happen. Now, I do wish everyone a long and healthy life. Some of us on this realm and this planet get more time than others. Some people don't deserve more time because they're real pieces of garbage and evil people and deceitful people and people that hurt others. Just the first thing that comes to my mind are pedophiles, mass murderers, people that abuse people and animals and things of that nature. These are the people that I think should have the shortest lifespan, minutes rather than hours, years, or decades. However, I don't get to make those choices. That's up to the universe, God, or whatever you believe. Allah, he, she, it, that, whatever your form of vernacular to use. But I've just been thinking a lot more about mortality and the meaning of life. And I guess what brought me to this modus operandi, or this mode of thought, or this train of thought, or this way of thinking lately is, I was thinking about a lot of it during the pandemic. But the pandemic is behind us now, folks. Let's be honest, okay? No matter how much the government wants to try to fucking scare you, and big tech and big media want to scare you. Oh, get your 17th shot, whatever. I said it before on many programs. I'll say it again. It bears repeating. I didn't get the gene juice. I'm not going to get the fucking gene juice. They're finding out more and more things about that gene juice shot that is fucking people up in bad ways. Children, men, women, children, and shit it's doing. When big government and all these entities line up and collude and then start silencing people who are just asking questions, that gives me a big moment of pause. And I've got some people, some friends that said, well, you didn't take it. Well, you know what? I didn't want the shot. I almost took it. And this is not a rant about COVID or getting a vaccine or anything like that, because, hey, like I tell you, my friends, you do you, baby. You do you. If you wanted to do that, that's fine. My wife, she got the Pfizer, the first 2 doses of Pfizer, and then she says, that's it. I was getting ready to make an appointment to get the Pfizer shot, and then I took a moment of pause and reflection, and something just in my psyche, in my inner being, okay, in my chi, whatever, said, no, I'm still here. I'm still alive. Knock on some wooden desks here. But I'm still here, alive and kicking. I probably had the vid maybe once or twice. I don't know for certain. But I'm still here, okay? And I think my immune system is all the better for it because I try and take care of my immune system by exercising, exposing myself to germs, just by going out and being in the real world. Unlike people like Howard Stern, who chose to become an agoraphobe for 2 months. Of course, Howard Stern's always been a weird fucking buckaroo anyway. I liked him in his early onset, but now he's gotten way too fucking, he's part of the fucking system right now. And shame on you, Howard Stern, because you always used to be against the system. You always used to be about asking questions, but you're fucking goose stepping right in line with big tech and the government. And so fucking shame on you, man. You built your career on being an outsider, about being one willing to ask questions, kind of step out and think outside the box. And now it's sad to see you in your old age just become a paranoid, compliant old man. It's a shame. Anyway, not to start a rant about Howard Stern, meaning of life. So anyway, being faced more and more at my own mortality, people I've known for years, older people than that starting to pass on and, go on to the sweet by and by, makes me think about it. Had some friends have some health issues come up, and I'm like, wow, and so the meaning of life. And another reason I've been thinking about this more and more lately as well, in quiet reflection here and there, is it seems like the pace of life in the past decade, at least in the past decade, from my reflection, has increased. I mean, I just sometimes feel like we're in fifth gear and that engine's just fucking whining, man. Fast, go, get this done, multitask, triple task, quadruple task. And I don't know about you, but I don't seem to function that well when I've got a multi-quadruple and task. Now, I do other things besides podcasting and video podcasting and making music. I have, I guess what you would call a day job. And I do have to do some form of multitasking in that job. However, I do my utmost to not let myself become, to let it be piled on so much, because I just don't function well that way. I don't know about you, but I can do a few things at a time. I attribute it to like being a juggler. I can juggle 3 items, 3 balls, and then 4, maybe 5, maybe 6. But then after that, it's all going to come crashing down because it's just not right. It's just not human nature to do all that, And for me, I just don't, I am not efficient and I don't feel comfortable. I do get stressed out when I get overburdened. And then that's when I just put the fucking brakes on and say, nope, that's it. Enough. I'm just stopping everything for a while. And so, getting back to the point of the podcast today, the meaning of life, I think that the media and other entities, and I'm not trying... I had some of you email me, Wyce Thoughts at purplepitstudios.com. You've reached out, and a couple on the website, too, over at Purple Pit Studios have sent me an email and said, it seems like, Terry, in the past year, excuse me, in the past year, you've really kind of ramped up the talk, and it almost sounds like you're becoming a conspiratorial person or a conspiracy theorist. Folks, I don't know. I guess if that's how you want to observe it, but speaking in my defense, however, that being said, I never considered myself a conspiracy theorist. I just, when I see what I see in front of me, I'm just like, duh. When I see what I see, then, the old expression, if it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, it's got to be a fucking duck, right? And the amount of gaslighting that goes on in the mainstream media and by our government nowadays and entities, and even from employers gaslighting their employees, just search through the archives. I've done some shows on gaslighting and how much I hate that. I despise gaslighting and ghosting. The 2 G's, man, gaslighting and ghosting. You want to piss me off real fast, gaslight and ghost me. Oh, watch how fast I get pissed. But anyway, it just seems like... the things I see going on, it's almost like, we're being pushed as a society more and more. Produce. Be the good little worker and consumer, and go out and, just go to your job, go home, watch your Dancing with the Stars or America's Got Talent or The Voice or, Celebrity Chef or whatever, and just do your fucking thing, eat, sleep, and shit, live and die, and produce so the big machine can go on. And I started really thinking about this, and I just had a moment of a pause, and I said, there is more to life than this. There's, it goes by fast. Okay, I graduated high school in the early 80s, very early 80s, and I look back and I'm like, holy shit, it just seems like bam, and now I'm in my mid 50s. Some more of that tea, that's good stuff. And I look back and I'm like, holy shit, where'd that time go? That time is just like zippity freaking doo-dah, man. It's really gone by. And I remember back in the day that first summer being at my graduation party that my parents held for me, God bless them. putting up with a bunch of screaming 17 and 18 and 19-year-old teenagers, 50, 60 plus at the homestead. And we were sitting out there smoking a joint in my friend's truck after, my folks retired for the evening. And, there was a few of us left out in the yard net, and my friend had pulled his truck in the back. We were sitting on the back of his truck, smoking a joint. And I'll say it. Hey, it's legal mostly anyway. And we were like, man, we got our whole lives ahead of us. And I just remember the sense of feeling like almost immortal. Like, this chapter is closed now, and the world's my oyster. I can do whatever I want. And then now, here I am, boom, in my mid-50s going, holy shit. Where did like 40 years go? 40 years is like, so I find that the things that I give priorities to with my time as I gain in years here and, am rapidly facing my mortality and coming more and more to grips with it, that I am more and more selective of what I give my attention to with my time. I guess that's just a real nice way of saying I don't got time for fucking bullshit or people's bullshit anymore. And that has lost me some friends. In the interest of full disclosure, that has lost me some friends and some long-time friends and short-time friends or what have you. And, I've been called a prick and, arrogant, but I just explained, listen, I don't got time for your bullshit. I got better things to do with my time, and, your little drama games or your little this or that. Go take your soap opera down the road. I don't, maybe some of you out there can understand what I'm saying. Now, and that being said, however, I am not beyond reproach if somebody has a problem or they're really going through a difficult problem and struggling. Yeah, that's what you're there for as a friend, a family member, a father, mother, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, whatever, parent, But what I am referring to are the people that are constantly, and you know who I'm talking about, these people that are constantly having fucking drama in their life. It's like they live for misery. And I don't have time for that anymore. I don't want to be that 80, 90-year-old man on his deathbed saying, all I did was bitch and moan for 50, 60 years and go from one tragedy to another. No, I want to live. I want to enjoy life. I want to suck it up. I want to experience the good, the bad, the ups and downs, everything life has to offer. I think the meaning of life is to experience life, not just put yourself in a box or on a hamster wheel with an employer or on a hamster wheel with a relationship that maybe hasn't been working for 10 years or whatever, and ladies, some of you are going to get pissed at me, but, these women that, their boyfriend or husband beats them every time they get drunk or pissed off and they won't leave them because they're afraid to be on their own or they've been conditioned, to this behavior. It's like, do you want to really live that way, man? I mean, kick them in the balls, get the fuck out of there, go to a shelter, go to a friend's, go to a relative's, and just cut them the fuck loose. Because those people are and same thing, guys, if you're in a relationship, if, you're homosexual and another guy who beats you up and abuses you, or girls, if you're a lesbian, whatever, anybody who abuses you mentally and physically and doesn't change, and they're making you miserable and physically hurting you, get the fuck out, because your life is too important and it's finite. You've only got so much time, and we don't know. None of us know how much time we have, and it's a good thing because, there's been psychological studies out there and questions have been asked and on talk shows and such. Would you want to know when you're going to die, the day and the date in it? No. Because a lot of us, let's be honest, we would just sit around dreading that, thinking, what can we do to avoid it? But the universe has that date chosen, probably from the time we're born, And that's why I just don't have idle time to waste anymore with people's bullshit or situations that are bullshit or things that waste my time. I am finding more and more, and again, as I gain in years, that I am prioritizing my time. And I implore you to maybe think on this and decide if that's right for you too. Now, again, I'm not saying become a heartless asshole and just cut everybody out and be a self-righteous narcissist. but cut the fat away from your life for, metaphorically speaking. You've got to live life. You've got to enjoy life. You've got to try to make the best of each day and learn from your mistakes, learn from the sorrows, learn from the triumphs. And again, I feel the meaning of life is not to just be the best worker or the best athlete or what have you. I feel the meaning of life, it's different for all of us. My meaning of life might be different from yours. Yours might be maybe becoming a missionary and traveling the world and helping, oppressed people and underprivileged societies. Great. God bless you. Someone else's meaning of life might be, a scientist trying to discover the secrets of, the universe, or curing a disease, or, if there's extraterrestrial life or what have you. Others might be, writing poetry or making music or whatever. Others might be just raising a family and doing. Everybody's meaning of life is going to be different. But the great thing about life is that you have life. So be happy for that we have life, and I feel that the takeaway would be just to make sure you try and make the most of your life. Be the best person that you can be. Be helpful. Try and be kind. Don't be a doormat. Don't be a sucker or a fool, but in the same token, don't become a narcissistic asshole either, because the world, believe me, has too many of them, and a lot of them in Washington, D.C. That being said, though, it's up to each and every one of us to find our own meanings of life, and then to go forward and explore that to its fullest potential. Because I'll tell you what, I think one of the worst things about the human existence is regret. Regret and guilt. I think those are the two most painful emotions that I've experienced in my life. It's almost like physical pain is nothing, but man, that pain of regret, I wish I would have done this then, or I wish I would have did that or made that, or guilt, I shouldn't have done this. Those are the two biggest emotions that haunt, I think, most people. I know that I've struggled with them throughout my life up to this point, but I'm learning to make peace. And it's an eye-opening experience. It's a very, very life-changing realization when you start to learn to make peace with yourself over such harsh emotions as guilt and regret, and realize, you know what, folks, we're not perfect. We're human beings. I've heard it described that we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And I do believe that there is a soul. And again, not trying to push my beliefs on anybody, okay? I'm not trying to preach to you. These are my thoughts and feelings. That's why it's called Wyce Thoughts, hence the name of the show, right? And I feel that there's a spirit in all living things, and even animals. I mean, look at animals. I mean, I've had a number of cats and dogs throughout my life thus far, and each one of them has a different personality. And to look at those creatures and say, "Oh, they don't have a soul or feelings," bullshit. Because if that wasn't the case, if they didn't have feelings, if they were just autonomous, like mindless things, then they would all act the same. Where am I going with this? What does it have to do with the meaning of life on this episode of Wyce Thoughts? Guard your thoughts, guard your time especially, and value and cherish your times. Don't work yourself. And I'm not trying to diss on being employed, okay? Having a job and a career per se is a good thing. It's a good thing to be a productive member of society. We all can't sit home on our ass and play video games all day, although a lot of you out there like to do that from what we've seen in the workforce. But anyway, I digress. You have to value yourself enough and value the realization that we all only have a finite amount of time that we are here. Some of us are here for a few years, some of us for a few decades, some of us live to be over 100. We don't know, though, how much time we got left. So pursue that dream, pursue that passion, pursue that friendship. experience, try a new food. Don't always eat hot dogs and hamburgers, or, don't eat just salads or whatever. Experience a little bit, the spice of life. Don't get into the rut and the doldrums of life where you're just like, And even when you have a shitty day, just realize, and this might be a harsh thing to say, but your shittiest day is better than a person who died, because they're not here anymore to have. I'm sure someone who passed away may want to come back and have a shitty day because they'd have a chance at life again. I don't want to end on a bad note, but just value your time, value yourself as a human being, and remember the meaning of life is what is special and meaningful for you, and pursue that and realize you are valuable as a human being. That's all I got for you this time, folks. Remember, like I always tell you, if you want to see a change in the world, be the change you want to see in the world. It all starts with the person looking back at you in the mirror. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Remember, you like the podcast, give us a positive rating and review. Check us out on Twitter. You can tweet at me on Twitter at Terry Wyce, W-Y-C-E. Just make sure you spell my name right. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Wyce Thoughts. The YouTube channel is Wyce Thoughts. And check us out at purplepitchstudios.com. Tell your friends, tell your pets, tell your neighbors about Wyce Thoughts. I look forward to getting together with you on the next virtual campfire sit-down real soon. Take care.